Buju Wabshka Sinikwe Indigenous Cause, Sagana Indonjaba, Bawating Da, Danjabam Kakmakana Minising, Nishiki Indodem, Ojibwe Nishnabi Kwe and Dao. Good afternoon. My name is Colleen Medicine, and I work for the Sioux Tribe Language and Cultural Department. And today, our team is pleased to bring you our sixth virtual Anishinaabemowin lesson. And today's lesson is going to be on called Talking to Each Other, so you'll get to experience some conversation in the language. We have 4 instructors today: Susan Askwith, Paul Blondeau, Shirley Recollet, and Cecil E. Pavlat Sr. And with that, I'll ask them to introduce themselves, and then we'll get right into the lesson.
Nahau. Susan, Indigenous Cause. Baoting and Donjaba, means I am from the Sioux. Minwa, Ndida, Mampi, Baoting. I live here too in the Sioux. Maingan and Dodem. Minwa, Nkachinendam Nongo. I'm happy today. Nahau, Gintam Paul.
Bonjour, Paul Blondeau, Indigenous Cause, Teng Donjaba, Scandia, and then Maingan, Do Nishnave, no Swin, Minwa, Gize, and Dodem. I'm Paul Blondeau. I live in Scandia. I'm from Sioux Tribe, and my native name is Maingan, and my Dodem is Magize. Oh, Kingdom Shirley.
Ani Kinagoyan, Shirley Recollet Indigenous Cause, Wikwawakong, Donjaba, Bakting, Dada, Kibisque, Donishnabenozwin, Minwadish, Wawashkish, Dodem. My name is Shirley Recollet. I'm from Wikwawakong, Manitoulin Island, Canada. I live here in Sioux, Ontario. Deer, and I'm a Deer clan. Aha, Kitam Cecil.
Anin, Bojo, Kenawea, Pavlat, Indigenous Cause, Igdangwasa Nin, Ojibwe Minoa Jagana Shiendao, Ji Jokundo Dem. My name is Cecil Pavlat. I am Crane Clan, and I am from Sault Ste. Marie. Nahau, East the West.
Nahau, talking to each other. Our language, Anishinaabemowin, is really heavy on action words. It's our main deal. I mean, it's more than in other languages. We use verbs, action words. And then what we do is we take those verbs, those action words, and we add things onto them to make more meaning. And it kind of reminds me of, what if you got an empty room? And in your empty room, you can make it really, however, you create more meaning just by the things you do. So maybe you paint the walls or put some kind of carpeting down, you put some furniture in there. Maybe it's going to be an office, maybe it'll be a bedroom, maybe it'll be a living room. So we make that how we want it by adding things to that room. And that's what we do with these action words that we have. So what we do with the action words is we add something onto the front of the word. Sometimes that's called a prefix. Or sometimes we add it onto the end of the word, like a suffix, they might call that. But regardless, it's at the beginning or the end of the word that we add something. On the slide that you can see, we have the word tige. We only studied 5 words so far. 5 words, and we learned so many things. But tige, all by itself, with nothing at the beginning and nothing at the end, is talking about that third person, he or she. Somebody that's there, not me, not you, but he or she. So tige, it means he or she is planting. with no extras on the beginning and no extras on the end. Let's look at another word that we studied, bakade. If bakade by itself means he or she is hungry, but with that N on the front, which you can see on the slide there, that N on the front says I am hungry. And then if we take that N off and put a G there, that stands for gin, that means you. G, tige, you are hungry. Look what we put on that slide where after it says, I'm sorry, hungry, it says planting. You are planting. Look at it afterwards in italics, it says kittige, because whenever we have two G's in a row, we don't want to sound like we're stuttering. And so a lot, our dialect at least, those two G's in a row sound like a K, kittige. So that's one thing you could remember. The next word we learned was gigonke. That means fishing. Someone is fishing. And it just, he or she is fishing is what it would really mean. But look what we did this time. Instead of adding on to the front of the word, we added on to the back. The wog, W-A-G at the end, it means they. Gigonke wog, they are fishing. And then we have gigonke gi moi. And so in that one, the thing we added in was gi, which is past tense. It happened in the past. Gigon is a fish. Did I say gigonke before? Gigon, gi moi, fish, I in the past ate. Or in English we'd say, I ate fish. And then the last one on this slide says, guija. In the future, if you want to talk about something that's going to happen coming up, then you might say we, W-I-I, guija. Sometimes that G kind of sounds like a K. G and K, they sound an awful lot alike. So in this case, it's spelled with G, guija, you will go. That means kind of you want to go. It doesn't mean for darn sure, come hell or high water, I'm going. No, it means I have intention of going. It's what I want to do. You know, if it doesn't work out, oh well, but this is my plan. So that's one of the other things we can add, the gi and the we and the n and the g. There's so many cool things we can add. Let's look at some more on the next slide. Okay. This one that we could say, if you're talking, I got to tell you, if you're talking about something in the past, you add gi. If you're talking about something in the future, you might want to add we. But what about if you want to say right now? This is what's happening right now. Well, you could add it in, but you don't have to. If you don't add it in, then somebody is going to just assume. The listener is supposed to assume it's happening right now unless you specifically say in the past or in the future. But you can actually say it's happening right now. So in this first one on the slide, the bakade, it means I am right now hungry. But the it could almost say that it's a D all by itself, the, because it could be spelled in the, like it says here, or de. If you're learning, if Indigenous said Susan Indigenous, it sounds like that is an NDI. And then sometimes some teachers will say do. And so all of those really are different ways that people actually sound that out. But it's one of the things we tuck on to say that it's happening right now. The next one, Cecil has been our superpower guy for this one, but it says they're not, something is not happening. Gawin tige si walk. Tige means planting. Gawin and si on each side of it. Now we got not just in front or not just in back, but both. Gawin tige si and then walk is they. They are not planting. Then gigon na hui moi. And that na in there is something else we can add. And that means, that turns an idea that you have into a question. I could just say, gigon gui mok, gi moi, gigo gui moi. Will you eat fish. No, it just says, you will eat fish. But if you want to turn it into a question, will you eat fish? Do you want to eat fish? Is it your intention to eat fish? Gigon na kui moi. And then the last one we have is j'adore, D-A-A, da. At the beginning of the word, that would really, you never would say it at the beginning because it makes it a whole different meaning. But at the end, it means, let's do it. Let's all go. Let's all go, or let's go. And that is everything I just talked to you about is stuff we already went over in our previous lessons. And maybe this is your first time. You didn't find all these pieces, but they're all here on this Facebook website. And you can go back and learn them. And what I did for you now is just a review. Now let's learn something new from what Paul has to say.
Jinkaza. He is or she is called a certain name. Clarence Jinkaza. Clarence is his name. Anne Jinkaza. Anne is her name. Paul Ndejnakas. My name is Paul. I am called Paul. You find that the O is missing. Da, de, do. Ndejnakas. You have that Paul Ndejnakas. I am called Paul. Let's see the next slide. Anish Ashnikaziyin. What are you called? The on there is a question. Anish, what? Ashnikaziyin, that's you. What are you called? And then for what is he called or she? Anish Ajnikazat. There's a D on the end of that. Jinkazat. Anish Ajnikazat. Next slide. Okay, Shirley, Kintam.
Aha. Aha, Mishminama, Nowichkin. Nowichkin. My friend. Nowichkin. Wichkin. Wichkin. Your friend. Dai. Dai. My dog. My pet dog. Badai. Badai. Your pet dog. Meanwhile, Midishwa and. Meanwhile. Amber.
Ani, Paul Ndejnakas. Anish Ajnikazian.
Ani Paul. Shirley Ndishnakas.
Ani Shirley. Meanwhile, Anish Ajnikazat Kiwichke.
Oh, Colleen Shinkaza. Nowichkin.
Ani Colleen. Meanwhile, Anish Ajnikazat Dai.
Dumno Shinkaza Dai. Dumno Shinkaza Dai.
Okay, section 3, part 1. Ja. He or she is going. Ja. He or she is going. Bija, the be on the front, means to come towards you. Bija, he or she is coming. Gagi, and you too, you also. Gagi. talking about you, you too, you also. In tum, first. In tum, first.
Amber.
Nui gi gon ka, guijana, gagi.
Nwigi go ke o the boxing.
In bakada, egoic, nui moak.
Nwichke na wibasha.
Ah, gawin we bija si. We ja dawe gamakong.
Kadai na wibasha.
Ah, gawin damano we bija si nangwa. We ja go jing.
Oh, wija kujin.
Na how? I'm bag, you go keda.
Oh, ka tam. Nwija mede gamgong.
Na how dash. Jada.
Kama pikalin mino damano.
Mi gwech bezind mok.
So that concludes our sixth annual or our sixth virtual Anishinaabemowin lesson. The only thing that I think I will add is that you'll notice that there were two parts where a conversation was happening in Anishinaabemowin and not necessarily the instructors were not using English at that time because they really wanted to show what the language sounds like in a conversation format, but you'll notice that the English was written underneath, so you can still refer to that. So I think with that, we'll all say Bama P.
Bama P.
And we'll see you for the next lesson. Miigwech.